All right, I know y'all probably can't see this head that I'm about to repair, but it's just a 4-inch rotary head. Usually I like to get a trash bag, put any dirt over there on top of the trash bag. I try to keep my area as clean as possible and leave it exactly how it was when I found it. Sometimes you know, obviously go above and beyond if you can, and you in that situation better than how you found it. So yeah, we're just gonna cut cut a circle out around this head, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Rarely is it. And I could have a crew do this, but there's no point. He just said go ahead and do it. I told him I'd do it next time I'm in the area, so it will take 5 seconds. But yeah, start by cutting this ring out around the head. As y'all can see, there's a hole in the middle where the head was. And then I tell people all the time, when you're doing irrigation work, dig more than you think you have to. It just gives you more room to work with. There's a big old root down in here. There's roots all in here. Obviously you want to tread lightly, but you still gotta cut through roots and dirt and whatnot. So, but you don't want to cause more damage than you have to, or to the funny pipe or barb, or if you can salvage the can, which is essentially, in the industry we call what the top and springs sit down into. This is the can. A lot of the times, in this instance, I'm just gonna replace, is that a hunter or a rainbird? You can't put a hunter top on a rainbird and vice versa, just threads don't line up. But I'm probably that's a hunter, so I'm gonna go ahead and replace the whole head. Also, it gives you confidence that all the internal pieces and whatnot are new and it'll work as it should. I'd say 95% of the time, just replacing the top works, and you know, sometimes it doesn't. I've got enough area to work right here in the natural area where I don't have to have a bag, so I can put a lot of this dirt right here. A lot of times if I have to cut more pieces of sod out, I want to try to put them where they go as far as where I took them out. That way they kind of fit back together like a puzzle piece. A lot of times if you can wiggle this around the sidewalls of the hole where the can sits, you can compact the sidewalls enough to where it won't cave in on you when you take it off the barb. But since we're going to try to get this one a little bit below grade, as it should be, I'm going to dig down till I hit funny pipe in the barb. That way I can get underneath the funny pipe and barb and just sink it a little bit lower so this doesn't happen again. Thought I had a small little hand trowel in my truck, but obviously I've given it to somebody and didn't get it back, so. All right, I'm down to the barb and funny pipe. So I'm just going to screw it off the 3/4 inch spiral barb elbow, which is what the bottom of this rotary head screw into. You want to be, there's going to be some residual water, but then take your new one and slap it on there. Make sure it's tight. And then at this point, I'm gonna go ahead, since I know there's water to this head, funny pipe, spiral barb, and everything is okay. It was just sitting weird, which was probably also why it was sitting above grade. But I'm gonna set my, if I can get my hands clean enough, I can grab my phone and show y'all. I'm gonna set the how wide it throws from left to right to cover from bed line to bed line and cover all the grass down here. So rainbirds, what I call a zero stop is basically your set point. Let's see if I can show y'all. So rainbird, your set point is on the left side, and then you adjust it from left to right. So that's where it would stop right now. I need it to go a little bit past this bed line, which it's not doing right now. It's stopping right there at that crepe myrtle. So it's good left. There's a little adjustment right here that says plus and minus. You're gonna grab your rainbird tool and you're gonna stick it down in this hole and find the threads on that screw and turn it to the plus sign and see how much further it stops that way now. Not quite good enough. We're gonna take it again. And there's a little bit of grass down here, so I want it to almost do a It's not on the edge, back behind the edge, the bed line, but there's some other heads on this left side that do, yeah, there's head-to-head coverage. And that head down there throws a little bit past this. So as long as we get all this below it, which isn't much, covered, you'll be good. So, I mean, that's sufficient. I'm gonna dig this out a little bit more and underneath here and sink it down a little bit more below grade. And this will pop up when this zone comes on and spray this bottom portion of the turf. A lot of y'all may be asking why the turf looks like that. We scalped the turf back, you know, a few weeks ago, and it's still coming out of dormancy. So what we talked about in our podcast, I guess it was last week or the week before, we got a bunch of questions as to why my grass doesn't look as green as my neighbors and this and that. But yeah, that's kind of why this grass looks a little patchy, but once irrigation is running consistently, it'll start to green up and everything. So I'm gonna turn y'all back around, get y'all set up best I can. I'm just gonna remove a little bit more dirt underneath this can. It doesn't need to go down much more, but just enough to get it below grade. You want the top of this can sitting below grade. And sometimes you have to dig farther back down the funny pipe run to dig underneath the funny pipe. But yeah, it seems to be sufficient. So, and my throws, or my left to right, is good how I need it. I know the nozzle in here is good. So once I get this backfilled and buried, I'm just gonna cut the system on. I'm just gonna backfill a little bit in case something else is wrong. But I'm 99.9% sure and know that it was just the top of that head that was busted and broken, which was causing all that leaking, and plus it needed to be readjusted so it was sitting vertically as far as up and down goes. But yeah, I'm gonna backfill this, and then I'll show you all the final product here in a second.